All right. Welcome back to Pouur Decisions, and I am so excited. I'm here with Stephanie Kluk with Fig Future Ink Graphics.
Yeah.
This whole idea and concept and the building we're in and everything is just really cool. So I can't wait to get into it and find out more about your journey.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell us about Fig and the inspiration behind it, how you got started.
Sure. So I have been in arts nonprofit for about 20 years. I'm a visual artist myself. I went to school for photography, actually. And then spent the last 20 years, I lived in Chicago. I was working for organizations there and then came to Cleveland and have been working with about 5 or 6 different nonprofits through the last 15 years that I've been back in Cleveland.
Okay.
So I grew up in Cleveland. I was born here and then left for about 10 years to go to school and to go and get into the arts community in Chicago.
Okay.
So the last job that I had, I was the director of a print co-op. And then COVID hit. And I said, I really wanted to start this organization. So I wanted to start an organization that I could work with artists and take the experience that I had from all the other organizations in Cleveland and Chicago to create my own space.
Okay.
So when COVID hit, it was like the best time and the worst time to start a business.
Yeah.
It was kind of like the world was upside down.
Yep.
So this was,
Yep.
and I turned 40 and I was like, you know what? It's
now
time to
or
do
never.
what I want to do. Like so I was able to, I left that job and was able to come into the Pivot Center and get to know the developer, and he gave me a chance in the space. So the building is a bunch of like large nonprofits, and we are the only for-profit small business inside.
Okay. And just to explain for viewers or listeners that don't know, the Pivot Center, it's in Cleveland, and it has how many different nonprofits inside the building?
So people are surprised because we are new-ish, but still, we've been around for a minute. The Cleveland Museum of Art has a 30,000 square foot community art center here that's open to the public.
Oh my gosh.
We have Rainey Institute, which is modern dance. They have a large studio space here. We have Rainey Institute, which has been around for 100 years, and they decided to create a satellite location on the west side so that they could work with more kids from the west side. So those are some of the big ones. We have Latin Us, which is an all Spanish speaking theater here. We have the Cleveland Ray Crisis Center has their main headquarters here. And then there's a sprinkling of other small nonprofits in the building.
Okay, so why this location, especially with you being a for-profit
Yes.
company, why did you want to be in a building with other nonprofits? And
Well, one, I just love the building. So I had learned about the building through Inlet Dance. And they brought us in, and the building was like gutted, but it was like gross and still like, there was no walls, and like the floor was all beat up. And I was like, this is the space. This is it. I knew it, that this is what I wanted. I just knew this was the space. So yeah, it was like, I said, I took a leap. I didn't take a little leap. Like I didn't just start from like, garage. I went into this space like thinking, all right, like I'm gonna have some big neighbors, and that hopefully too would attract interest in our organization, our business. So
that makes sense.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But and it has its challenges being a for-profit in a nonprofit based building, because there are things that they can do for free that I cannot do. So it's been interesting, but for the most part supportive, and I feel really lucky to be in this building.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go back to your journey, to open. So you said you're taking this leap, you're gonna start and walk us through like the steps.
Sure.
Obviously you found this building and decided on a location, but
Yes.
with the
How it
clients,
Yes.
everything.
So when we came into this space, they only had lighting, and then the exterior walls were built for this size of our studio space. So I actually got to work with an architect and a contractor, which was an experience, to actually build out the space, which included plumbing, all of the internal walls, additional electrical, and that was its own experience.
Yes. Yes.
This is a historic building, so there's even more kind of permits and things that you need to go through. So that was definitely a learning lesson. But it was really nice because it gave us the opportunity to build up excitement about FIG opening. And so every time we had something, my husband built movable walls so we could have exhibitions in the space before we even had walls.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah. So the museum was opening, and I said we weren't open yet, and I said we can't not take this opportunity. So our first opening was we were just a white box, and we had some fake walls up and some artwork, and we had about 400 people come through. So it was really cool.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So we were just really able to kind of build from, like my experience and the people that I've worked with throughout, my years here at Cleveland. And so those were just already kind of wonderful relationships. And so once we moved into this space, a lot of those clients and things came to me and said, we'd like to work with you.
Yeah.
So that was great. So.
Oh, wow. Very creative, thinking outside of the box, which not surprising, being in the creative space.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Now, so how do you generate clients? Especially since a lot of the people coming here are thinking maybe, I'm gonna go, nonprofit. I don't necessarily have to pay for services and all. How do you find clients?
So a lot of ours is actually like business to business in most of our programming. So that is relationships with other nonprofits or businesses that will hire us to do the services. So we have a community screen printing program where we go to the Rock Hall and they will commission us to have an artist create a poster design, and then we live print that at the Rock Hall. And so really we haven't done a lot of marketing. We're still very young. So I say we officially formed in 2020, but 2021 is when we started doing programming, and then 2022 out of the space. So we're still pretty young, but a lot of it has been word of mouth. So we don't have a big marketing budget, which is always the problem for a small business. But that mostly it's been word of mouth. And then seeing sometimes people literally are just at an event and they're like, we want this at our space. And then I give them the information.
Yeah.
So that has been mostly how we've built our clients. And then we have, obviously we have Instagram, and we have a newsletter that we send out every other week or every week talking about what we have going on. But I was lucky that I built relationships, through my time in multiple nonprofits here in Cleveland.
Yes. So with those, did you reach out to people that you had worked with before and said, hey, this is my business, a company that I'm offering these type of services?
Yes. Yeah. So it's been great. And we did a lot of inviting. My parents used to make, in the very beginning, they had a little cookie factory at their house. Because my dad would make the cookies, and then my mom would put them in little packages with little signage for us. So we probably had, a few hundred people come through the first, before we had walls. And so everyone would leave with these cookies, and it became a thing where people would email me and be like, these were the best cookies ever. So we had a little running joke that the whole first year that we were here, we were just giving everybody cookies to bribe them to come back.
Right.
So, and it worked. It did for a lot of people. It was a really nice way for people to remember us and to come back when we were built up. So,
what kind of cookies were they?
There was a variety. Double chocolate. There was chocolate chip. There was oatmeal raisin.
That's my favorite, oatmeal raisin.
Yes, there was. So yeah, it was funny.
Okay,
it was great.
And what's the name of their cookie?
Oh, they don't have one. That was just their. We joked that it was their cookie factory because they did that. So they were making I have pictures of them in their kitchen with cookie sheets covering their counter. There's just my mom is sitting at the table putting these in little bags.
So awesome.
It was just for
you.
Just for getting the business off the ground.
Oh, okay. That's so nice.
Yes, it was awesome. And my 79-year-old aunt, she does all my embroidery. So we have our logo on our aprons and our hats, and we have cozies and things. and she does that for me too. So it's a family affair.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Now, do you sell that?
We do. Sometimes I give them away. Like it's kind of a nice way. I'll say if you tag us on Instagram, you can have this hat. But we do sell them. So
Okay.
yeah, they're up for sale, and we have a new shirt that's kind of up for sale. But we haven't really gotten into a lot of retail, so there just hasn't been a lot of people buying art in Cleveland, and so selling some of the artwork that we have or our branded material it sells, but just not. Outrageously, yeah, it's not our best revenue
drive. Okay.
Yeah.
So, what would you say is okay? So, what services all do you offer first?
Sure. So we are mostly an educational space. We are a maker space, so artists can come in. They can use our screen printing facilities. They can use our tech lab. And then we have artists that are here that can also assist in helping them sometimes with a specific project.
Okay.
But then we have programming where we will go into the school systems. Is that what you're? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I was losing my train of thought there. So where we go into the school systems, so I will hire out all the independent artists. So it's me. I have a very small staff, and then I have artists, probably about 20 that I will reach out to for different teaching or different design work. So like for teaching, we do a program with Metro Hospital called SAFE. We're actually doing it now, and it takes over our October. But it's awesome. It's 2 high schools, Lincoln West and Glenville, and we are working with all of the 9th graders, 11th graders, and 12th graders in both of those schools. And so that is to provide arts programming, and then it's very specific to themes that they have to help kids get through high school and understand coping mechanisms and stress and transitions and things like that. So they use the visual arts and dance and theater and music, but we're the visual arts component for that. So that's one thing that we do a lot of.
Okay.
And then we have a lot of these commissioned work where organizations will have a benefit or the Rock Hall has an event. And they will call us and say, we want you to live screen print at our event. Can you customize a poster? And then we just go out and we do that. So that's those are 2 kind of big ones that we have. And then I also write grants. So even though we're a for-profit, there are programs and things that I would like to do and services that I'd like to provide that I can't necessarily do because if people can't afford them or, art is more expensive, I think, than people realize behind the scenes. And so we have a program for seniors. We have a program for adults with disability. And then we have a residency program specifically to support women in the arts. So, and those are all grant funded programs.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So do the different individuals, whether it's the women or the seniors, do they physically come here?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We do workshops here. We had just this year, I got the first grant for our senior citizen programming, and it was awesome. It's definitely one of my favorite programs. I was like, we had 5 workshops, and they came in like almost every Monday.
Okay.
And they were bused here. It was all women. It just happened to be all women. But by the end, like it was like an assembly line of hugs. So they would come in and we really got to know them. And so I'm hoping that I have another grant out that we will get it for next year so we can actually do an exhibition of the women's work. So and that would be really cool to do. So
so then they'll go through the process of creating it and then an exhibition to present it to everyone.
Yep.
And how long do the programs run? Is it like all year or?
It just depends. So a lot of it depends on funding or it depends on another organization's goals and how they want to do that. So just kind of depend. I would keep going if I had the funding. I would just keep having these programs because they are filling and there seems to be this need and desire to want to do that. And I think especially now as programs are getting cut, education is getting cut, creativity is really important.
Yes.
So I think it
is.
Yeah,
it is so important.
Yes.
And it opens up your mind and you just, you start one idea goes to another idea and then it just,
Yes. It's just
snowballs
creative
from there.
thinking and thinking, for yourself
Yes.
is a big part of art, and going through a process of failing and fixing it and things like that. So, yeah, and it's been a nice, I also have an internship program where we have, so sorry, I forgot a couple of programs if I can bring it back up.
Yes, please.
Okay, so I have an internship program where I have two high schools, they're high school kids, and the high school kids are awesome. They've been fantastic. They're like a new breed of kids. They're great. But they'll come in and maybe do like a 6 to 8 week internship here where they have to learn about digital art and graphic design and screen printing. And then they work with their school and their class, their digital art class, to create a collaborative kind of t-shirt logo or something with their class when they're back at school. And then their final is, sometimes we have an exhibition of the students' work, but they also have like family, friends come in, and then they live print t-shirts for all of their, student colleagues. So we have a gallery space too.
Okay.
Sometimes those, like I was sharing with you, the last show we had was grant funded through the Metro Health Foundation. But then sometimes we have schools or organizations or individual artists that want to do exhibitions. A lot of times they'll get funding to do it. So they'll kind of rent out our space, and then we market them, and we have a big opening for them. So that's another thing that we do to bring in some revenue.
Yeah.
And this is the great part about being in the building with like Kluk Museum of Art, is to have your artwork up at the Pivot Center next to, I think we're important, but I think next to the Museum of Art, it really kind of stands out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, do your, like the students that you have or anyone, do they showcase their work around the building or just in your office?
Yeah, so we have the internal space where we just hang work.
Okay.
And sometimes if we have a big enough show, we will have work come inside. But the nice part is it's actually like our hallway, our shared hallway is our community gallery, and then the front wall of our space is in the main lobby. And that is in my lease, that's our space for exhibitions.
Oh, nice.
So that's where we will hang work. But what's nice about that too is we don't have to be open for people to come and view the show. It's just the regular hours of the building, which is really nice. I mean, it's a little like you kind of want to lock it up at the end of the night, but it's really nice that people can come whenever they want, and we could be off at a school and people could still come and see it. So.
Cool. Now, so what do you enjoy doing the most?
Probably it's our work with our seniors and then our artists with disabilities. That has been really rewarding. The artwork that's coming out of the programs is fantastic that they're creating. So for me, I'm very hands-on. I'm a part of the process. I will hire artists to be like the lead artist, and lead instructor, but I want to be at the programs and I want to interact with the kids. With the SAFE program, we talk about some pretty heavy topics, and I'm always just like so honored and amazed that these kids will share it. They will be super honest with you about it, and some of it's hard, but it's like it's really great when you connect. And then from that program, we've had 4 interns. So like they come and they're like, hey, they're kids that want to make art, that want to be a part of it. And we'll say, can we come do it? I'm like, absolutely.
Come on.
We'll figure it out. We'll figure out how to get you here. But if you want to be here, I want to make sure you have that opportunity.
Oh, nice. And are they getting school credit for that, or are they just...
Yes. So 2 of the schools that we work with, they do get credit for it. The other kids, the school actually let them leave if they're seniors. Sometimes like we had a program with Glenville where they would let the student leave because he had to take 2 buses to get here. So they let him leave at like 1 so that he could get here and then have time for the internship. So the schools are pretty much involved and so yeah.
That's so cool. Now, you mentioned that the artwork doesn't sell as well here. Do you find that, or what steps do you think you could take to, engage Clevelanders more to buy it? Did you find that there was a difference in Chicago?
I didn't really do too much of I was doing a lot of nonprofit work in Chicago, but people would buy art. Here, I think it's just, they'll buy prints, maybe we kind of sell stuff around $100, $150. So what's nice about screen printing is an artist can have an original piece and then screen print multiple copies and then be able to sell that for cheaper.
I see.
Yeah. And I think there are definitely, I'm not too well versed in galleries in Cleveland. Just from our experience, people will buy stuff, but sometimes they're very small, you know, cards and things like that, which is great, but we just get a percentage of it. So sometimes it's not even, you know, kind of worth it for us to do it. So we were selling, just not enough for me to have a staff person man an art store.
Got it.
But I think there are groups, especially like the Cleveland Foundation, that are working with younger people about becoming like collectors. So looking at art in a different way in Cleveland, and then, you know, who has the funds to be able to buy a piece of artwork. So, and, you know, economically, again, it's been kind of rocky. So that's just another thing. Unfortunately, art is usually the first thing that gets cut.
I know. Yeah.
It sucks. Yeah. When we need it the most, right? COVID, we needed it so much. And
so much. It's inspiring. It's comforting. It's, you know, just, it allows you to, like, you know, get out any, you know, anxiety, or, you know, just to be able to release it. And then, you know, the end result is like some amazing piece or something that you created.
And sometimes it's just the process of doing it. So it's like just actually like spinning it. Because we find, like, you know, kids are on their phone all the time, and we've been doing just like magazine collaging, and just like their phones are away, they're sitting there just like focused and going through magazines, which they don't do very much of now. Like I was like, I did that, but and so it's a great like way for them to focus on something other than what's going on outside. So if it's an hour or 30 minutes, it's a great way to, you know, focus and get some creative energy out. And
Now, when you were going through the process of, you know, deciding to open and everything, were there any legal things that you encountered, or you were like, man, I wish I knew an attorney or had an attorney that I could ask this question to or run this by?
All the time. Not even just when I started. Because I actually use a lot of free services, which has been great, like Hispanic Business Center. They do, you know, accounting and like help you with your business plan. So there's a lot of organizations that will help in those ways, but I haven't found one that I could qualify for like legal support. So even just when I did my lease here, I had a woman who volunteered. She was a lawyer, retired lawyer, and she stuck with me through the multiple amendments, because, you know, we were like, the build out was taking longer than it was supposed to, and so we had to change these. And so she was lovely, but she said, you know, I'm not going to negotiate for you. Like, this is just so I'll give you, you know, eyes on these lease and what it looks like. But like understanding what went into that, some of the stuff that's in the lease would have been, you know, something that I could have really used at the time. And then as we work with art and we work with artists making work that we sell, just looking at like copyrights and who owns what and what could we use, and so, and how could we use it, and what is the language. So there's a lot of that we have questions with too. And then I have people that come in and out of the space a lot. So just what is the, you know, legality of that, of having people on the, what do you call it, liability of people coming in. So just making sure that I am, you know, but definitely there's always, especially because it's me and I'm an artist. I didn't really go to business school. I didn't do any of that. So I am just kind of having mentors and people support me as we go. But legal has been the hardest one to find.
Yeah, well, and that's so important. Because as not just an artist, but like business owners, period. A lot of times the nitty gritty things are not even thought about. It's like you get your location, you know, you have to get a printer and internet and, you know, computers and all of this thing, and you're, you know, bogged down with that. And those things like, you need someone to look over your lease and negotiate on your behalf, or and have insurance and, you know, other like agreements with other vendors you're working with.
It's the adulting part of owning a business. I call it. Because it's like, you know, no offense, because you're a lawyer, but like, that's not usually the most fun. Although I really enjoy like kind of learning about it. That's so if people don't want to do it as much because they're like, well, I'd rather hang the artwork and you know, do that than get into those details.
Figure out how my business cards are gonna
but it's so important. It's so important. Yeah.
It is, yeah. And I'm glad you found someone to help with the lease and
Yes.
and that you understand that there are legal issues that have to be
Yes.
addressed, taken care of, and determined.
I sent that lawyer a lot of cookies.
Oh,
She got a lot of cookies.
so nice.
Yes, because she knew. She was like, I know that it's just you against, you know, not against, but like, you've got to figure this out. And you have city people working for the city, you have contractors, you have a lot of people. And I was like, it's just lovely to have someone that can support me and just be on my side. So I just know someone had my back, and that was really wonderful of her.
Now, how did you find her?
She was a friend of my aunt.
Okay.
Again, a family connection.
Yes.
So, my aunt had introduced us, told her what I was getting into. And really, like, it was from zero to this now. So, like, people, you know, kind of jumped on board, and I was like, I have no idea if I'm going to survive a year. I don't know what's going to happen. So my aunt introduced me to her, and then she was like, I'll take this on. It sounds like a cool project, and you are all by yourself, and you don't have any funding for a lawyer. So she was great. Yeah, she was awesome. She stuck with me for a couple of years too. Like, finally, I was like, I can't. I'm like, I feel bad. I'm asking you for things, and you're volunteering, and so. But yeah, she's great.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yes. But now I don't have her legal advice. So I've gone to a couple different lawyers for different things on copyright. But it really, you know, either it's very quick because it's expensive, or it really doesn't fit within the arts. Like, if someone doesn't understand the arts and kind of how that works. But yes. Definitely, the small businesses need more legal support and just eyes and ears and understanding what they're signing. Yes, that's a big one.
Yes,
I had many grants through the city, so I got grants through the city to help for building up a small business. But I don't, you know, just kind of sign your life away, and you're not sure what's in there.
What all am I signing?
This is like a 25-page document, and it's like fingers crossed.
Right.
And that's not a good way to go.
No, it's not. It's not.
Fingers crossed is nerve-wracking. So, yeah.
Hopefully, I'll be okay.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, because the contract's not there for when things are good. It's there for when things go bad.
Yes.
Hopefully it never happens, but if and it does, you have, you know, the agreement that dictates how things are done.
Yes. Everything in writing. I've gotten really much better about that.
Yes, good.
Yes.
Now, how about during this process? Was there a or any poor decisions that you made that, you know, you learned from, you overcame, and you're obviously still standing and surviving and all?
Yeah, definitely. We would need like another hour. I mean, all the things that I goof up on. I just also have a thing where I say I believe kind of in the yin and the yang. So I may like not get 3 grants, but then get a grant, and I'm like, well, it evened out, right? Like, that was meant to be. I'm gonna not get some, so I'm counting. I'm counting my mistakes as that's part of the journey.
Yeah.
Some are harder than others to take.
Yes.
But there's probably some where it was, you know, not getting the contract signed, or
like a contract with a vendor or a contractor.
Yeah, it could be a contract with a vendor or something like that. Definitely through the like when we were building out the space, that was kind of insane. And I think there are things that I would definitely do differently when interacting with the contractors and how that all kind of came together. Wow, I'd have to think a little more about that. But there's definitely mistakes that I've made. A lot of them are also more so about like staffing and just like how, you know, interacting with, as I'm getting to be a little bit older in age, and understanding the workforce as it's changing has been also a very big learning lesson for me. So
yes, can you think of so is there an example of was it an interview or just, you know, maybe not training, or
probably I tend to be like really nice, I think.
Okay.
Like, so sometimes I am too friendly. I am friends with, because sometimes they're artists that I worked with or known for a long time.
Yeah.
Or they're just wonderful people. So I kind of fall in love with them. And so that's something that I've had to learn, the hard way, that it's great to be friendly and wonderful, but like this is a business and how it's running is the top priority of what's going on. So yes. I don't know if I have some examples, but I don't know if I'll share. But yeah, it's definitely been interesting. A lot of texting, a lot of the new texting. I'm like, just email me.
Yes.
Email me something important, because a text I'm not going to remember. It's just going to go down the line. But a lot of young people are texting. And I'm like, it's 3 a.m. You don't need to text me. I've got many of those. So, but that was just, communicating, like, these are actually, things that I kind of thought we just all generally knew.
Yep.
And then it's totally, I think COVID especially just kind of put that all out the window. So, figuring that out and navigating how I respond to it as well has been a journey.
No, that is such a big thing. And I hear that a lot with, just the generational differences and how communication is and expectations in the workforce, all of that. Yeah, because 3 o'clock in the morning, I mean, everybody's up at 3, on social media.
Yeah. So I'm like, but that doesn't mean that's an okay time to text, but but that's actually been taken care of with the, with stuff we had. But it just meant having a conversation about it when I thought.
Absolutely.
I didn't think I had to have a conversation about it, but
you do now. Okay, now I know.
Yeah.
And future references, going forward, the next people that I, hire on.
Yes.
It might even be something that you're like, oh yeah, I make sure that I mention that in the interview. Like, we don't. My hours are these times.
Right.
So.
Right. Because I have a saying too where I'm like, will only text you for an emergency. Otherwise, I may email you in the middle of the night, but you are not answering your email in the middle of the night. So it's not coming to you. But I may have ideas throughout the week, but I will not text you. I feel like that is, I'm in your phone. I may, that's not, unless I really need to, then.
Right. You're not going to.
Yeah.
Well, no, those are good. All of these things just help us become better business owners.
Yes.
And to provide a better environment for staff or clients and everything, to just be able to, make it even more enjoyable for everybody that's working or, patronize them. So that's great.
Yeah, it's like those lessons where you're like, okay, this is, I also gotta say, I'm like, I'm feeling a little bit older. Feeling a little bit.
I know.
And I'm like, okay, I am old enough to probably be your mom. That's the other part where you're like, okay. So anyway,
I know you don't feel like it, but then when you look at that age, you're like, oh yeah,
yes.
it could
or
be.
Just like there's a lot of young people that I have to understand, and I'm not trying to say I'm wonderful, but look at me as like a mentor.
Yeah.
And so I have kids that are teenagers, and so I kind of sometimes fall into that a little bit of like, but I think it's necessary, and it's obviously needed, because a lot of these young women that are coming into work for me, it's definitely obvious. So,
nice.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, that's great that you're able to provide that mentorship and, for them to look up to you. And
you could talk to them, because maybe I'm speaking it.
No, I'm sure.
I'm just like, great. Right? No.
I'm sure. Well, that is a great segue to us toasting to, Dane and all the great things you're doing. All right.
This is great.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you.
And we're drinking your red.
Tempranillo.
Yes.
Ooh. Did you say Tempranillo? Oh, no.
Tempranillo.
Oh,
it's a Sangiovese.
Lovely.
Cheers.
Cheers.